Well, hello again. This is Dr. Sean or Reverend Sean over the Center Path. And, we've been going over how to bring Buddhism into everyday life, to bring basically the idea is to bring the Buddha home, right? And we're bringing the idea of the teachings of this guy, the Buddha, the awakened one, into our everyday life for mental health reasons, right? And for mental resilience. And the best way to become mentally resilient is to understand how this thing works. And we're going to talk about some of the Eightfold Path. The Eightfold Path, as you know, is the fourth part of the what's it called? The Four Noble Truths, right? The first noble truth being there is suffering, or suffering is a truth. There's truth in suffering. Suffering is there. The second one is that suffering has a cause, and that cause is the craving and the poisons, right, that we've talked about before. And the third part is that there is a way out of suffering. And the fourth part is the Eightfold Path. And the Eightfold Path then, keep up with me here, it happens in three parts. So there's a first part, which is, well, we're going to say it first part, but I'm going to get to that in a minute. Prajna, or wisdom, right? There's three pieces to that one, and that's, or two pieces, sorry, that's skillful view, like seeing things as they are, and skillful intention, how you want to deal with them, right? Then the second one is sila, or morality, and that's going to be three parts, which is speech, so skillful speech, saying things the correct way, and etc., and truthfully, and that kind of stuff. But we'll talk about that one later. Skillful action, or correct act, right action, and right livelihood. Those are easy ones to deal with. We'll go over those another time. And then the last three is skillful effort, right, and skillful meditation, and skillful concentration. So we're going to talk about skillful concentration, because what does that mean? Right concentration. When we're looking at something like right concentration in Buddhism, we're looking at how we're approaching our meditations, right, and our life, because what are we concentrating on? Now, some people say it's the end, it's the last thing on the wheel of the Dharma wheel, which that's ridiculous. So the Dharma wheel, if you've seen it, it's an 8-spoked wheel, and each of those spokes is one of these. In the center of it is the four noble truths, right? So it's the 8 spokes of our actions and our ways of making this Dharma wheel move, so we can have a better life and move on, right? Move into things, move well into things. There's no beginning and there's no end. You can start anywhere you want, right? So people say, oh, you must start at right view or something like that, or in prajna, or you can develop that last. You start where you're at, okay, is basically the hint of it. And for right concentration, what does that mean? That means, like, what are you concentrating on? What are you ruminating about? Rumination is constantly going over the same thing over and over again. Like a ruminant is an animal that basically barfs up its cud, right? Like a cow, and will just chew on stuff that's already chewed on. And that's what we're doing. We're mentally going over things that we've already gone over, right? And many times it's bad. We have bad thoughts. We have bad poor thinking. Like disruptive thinking, traumatic thinking, and those things we're trying to like constantly go over again. Like we're gonna figure it out, right? Again, it's kind of like you're gonna find, like, for this, for example, this is a little crystal ball, right? And I'm going to find the center on the outside. Where's the center of it? Is it right there? Oh, what if I move it over here? It's over there. Okay, no, it's right here in front of me. So it's constantly a moving thing. And we want to be able to use our minds constructively and become happy with them, right? And learn to use our minds better. Right concentration. What are we concentrating on? How are we concentrating? When are we concentrating, and who's concentrating, right? So that's going to open us up to a lot of different concepts. Now, what we're concentrating on should be our breath, first of all, right? Concentration. That's the beginning of shamatha, right? That's the very beginning. Concentrate on your breath, because then you can see, like, oh, my breath comes and goes. My breath is changing. My breath is sometimes it's a long breath, sometimes it's a short breath. My breath is not permanent. I can't always breathe in. I can't always breathe out. Eventually I have to change it. So it's part of a cycle. And we have to understand our minds start to be that way. And as we see our own thoughts as they arise in meditation, we're trying to look at our thoughts and see as the thoughts arise. And we pay attention to, wow, look at that thing, is really cool. But then it goes away and it becomes something else. And then pretty soon it's this kind of thing. It's like, whoa, that's really neat. That's kind of cool. And it goes on. We let go of it and wait for the next one with breathing. That's right concentration. Now, how do we concentrate on good things versus bad things? A lot of us have like traumas and things that we're dealing with, and there's like you close your eyes and you see the same vision again and again and again. Well, that's disruptive concentration, right? And if we practice disruptive concentration or traumatic concentration, if you will, then we're going to get better at it. And so we're going to constantly look for those those threats. Now, one thing we were talking about earlier with someone at the hospital that I teach at, we were talking about being in a beta state and an alpha state. A beta is like a brain wave that's being wide awake, like we are now. We're talking, blah, 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 and then alpha is being calm and like meditative. There's those two things, right? One, alpha, you can be very in that moment and very calm about that moment. However, in the beta brainwave state, you can also be very focused because you're focused on a threat, or you're focused on a thing, you're focused on something that you want to get to or is going to get to you. Okay, that's the difference. Now, as we do what's calm abiding, right? We calmly abide and watch. That's right concentration. So I just wanted to kind of go over a little bit of how concentration can be something that we can refine. The Eightfold Path is doable, and I always want to make it more approachable. When I teach different parts of it, it's approachable, it's doable. Let's take out some of that magic and that really far off esoteric stuff of having to be this way and having to be that way, because it can arise itself, right? We have a right concentration occurs to us all the time. Other things too in there, right view or right intention, whatever it is, those things can arise for us as we just go through the day. Now, the idea is to perpetuate that practice and practice, right? You get better at what you practice on, right? If I practice ping pong, I get better at it, and eventually I can compete. Then we're testing our practice, right? When you compete in your own head, what we're competing for is time and space. Okay, one of thoughts and two between thoughts. Meditation gives us time and space between thoughts, opens up that space so we can have better intention, better realization of them, and better working of them. So when you're doing your meditation, here's your homework. Your homework is, as you finish breathing, notice the mind. As those thoughts arise, let them arise. You say, like, let the thoughts come and go, but don't serve them tea. Right? So we don't want to entertain them, is what that means. And by entertaining means like getting into it and like starting to really like analyze it really harshly at first. We can do that later. That's part of insight meditation later on. But right now we're just trying to like be able to let go. Being able to let go, we start to realize there's freedom in that. And as we have a realization of freedom in that, then we can start to pick and choose thoughts that come and go. Right? Our good thoughts, our skillful thoughts, our useful thoughts. There's a lot of useless thoughts we have, and we get stuck on them because we practice getting stuck on them. We stay stuck on them. And that's one of the things we want to try and do with our meditations. So practice your meditations, continue with your breathing, bring up some thoughts, allow them to be, let them pass on, right? Let them just float on by. And as they float on by, even visualize them changing. Like we do the meditation that I often do at the hospital is a streams leaves in a stream. And so you imagine, it's really interesting. I'll probably do it as a guided meditation one time on here. Is we visualize us in a place, right? We design a place in our heads, and then we have a stream in that place, and in that stream is going by, and leaves come by, and each leaf is a thought, and as they change, they turn, they twist, sometimes they sink, sometimes they float, sometimes they pass by, they clump in with other ones, they all change and they move around and stuff like this. Some of them go pretty fast, some of them twist, whatever it is, and that's how we see it. So we know that they're thoughts, but they're just leaves, and we can let go of them easier that way. We don't stand up and follow it down and try to catch it, because we know another leaf is coming. Okay, so that's your practice. That's the one thing to try to, in your next meditation, when you're done, is try to bring that into your meditation and make it a part of what you're actually doing. So make sure that you're hopefully you're subscribed to this, because I want to like make this more of a conversation, and we can talk in the comments and things, and I do try to answer all of those. And I'm going to start doing some more some guided meditations, specific, the ones that I do for mental health at the mental hospital, and the ones I do at the rehab facilities and stuff like that. Those are the ones that I'm going to start bringing to us here for free 95, right? All you got to do is whatever, sign in and watch YouTube, I guess. This is Reverend Sean over the Center Path. Don't forget to subscribe and leave me a message. If you want to know more or anything like that. And this is what 10 minutes of our time, and I hope you guys have a really good one. Go on with that right concentration. Do good stuff. Okay. Good luck. Have fun with it, because meditation is all about having fun. If you're not having fun, you can do it. Right. Take good care. We'll talk to you later. Bye.